Our guest is Frank Erb. Frank is a pastor missionary to the California State Capitol. Do you have any other points that you'd like to add to these? We've gone through the six main points that are on the handout, and we'll have a link for people to be able to get this list if they're interested in sticking this list on their fridge to remember to pray for their leaders, which I've encouraged people to do. But do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'll add two more real quick. Another one is also to pray for their campaigns. This is a big thing for everybody who's in elected office. They kind of have another job, don't they, which is running for office. And it's always on their minds, and it's always a part of what they're doing on the side in addition to their role as an elected person. They're also thinking about their upcoming campaign. And we want to pray that God will guide that. In Daniel 2:21, it says God removes kings and establishes kings.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to pray that God will remove those who shouldn't be reelected and establish those who should be, and ask God to guide their campaigns and guide the vote in the way that pleases the Lord. And then another one, pray for their campaigns. Another one I would suggest is that we pray for those who are around them, who are reaching out to them, that God will strengthen them. I sure appreciate people praying for me.
Mm-hmm.
Psalm 119:46 is a verse that says, I will speak of your testimonies before kings and shall not be ashamed.
Mm.
And I love that verse because it is a reminder to me, yep, Lord, that's what I want. Give me your strength to speak of you, not be ashamed of you, and then to have open doors. And so we want to pray that God sends people to our government leaders. We can't all go to all these leaders. We can't get access to share about the Lord with them. We can try. I do encourage people to try, but pray that there will be people around each of them, that he'll bring his people. And I've watched God answer this prayer, that he'll put someone around them to share about him and give that person courage and strength and boldness and opportunity. And that we would begin to realize this is a mission field. Our government leaders are a mission field. And we all should be praying for this mission field and doing what we can to reach out to it.
Thank you, Frank. When you look at elected officials, would you say that they hear from all kinds of people, not just people pressuring them to do things a certain way, but they hear from people from all different philosophies of life, different religions, lots of different points of view. Is it helpful obviously you are there working in the Capitol and in different places, reaching out to legislators, to other elected officials. Is it worthwhile? Do they hear from people? Do they listen? You mentioned before that sometimes you can see fruit, sometimes you get a door slammed in your face, but can you just give an encouragement that it's worth our time to talk to people, maybe about God, about the Lord, and about his love, but also on issues? Is it worthwhile to pursue those things?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. This is, again, it's a command God has given us. Why would God command us to pray for them if it didn't accomplish anything?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder how much more we would actually see happening that we're pleased with if we were praying more, if that were just a part of what God's people do. And so obviously, God is telling us to do it for a reason, and that's so that he can answer these prayers. And then again, these are just people, and we sometimes assume that they're impregnable fortresses, but they're not. They're people. They have a family, they have life experience. I've sat with government leaders who were voting in every way that I think most people who are following the Bible would be upset with, mm-hmm. and would be discouraged by. And he had pictures all over his office of him with presidents and other government leaders, hundreds of pictures. But when I talked to him about Jesus, he said, well, you see that one little picture in the corner? And he pointed to the corner of his office. I'm like, which one? Because there's hundreds. But one little photo, he says, that was me getting baptized in college.
Huh.
And I said, well, then what happened? And he said, well, then my life took a turn and I kind of went away from it. He still kept that photo where he could
Yeah.
look at it in the corner of his office. What was God doing? God was calling this man to him. And now that man is in US Congress in Washington, D.C., having a very influential position there. So we never know how God's at work. We want to pray, we want to reach out, and then we leave the results to him.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's just as a testimony to them. You think about Jesus standing before government leaders. They didn't all say, oh, Jesus, we bow at your feet. In fact, none of them did that Jesus stood before. They rejected him. They let him go to the cross. They sent him to the cross. But he stood before them as a testimony. God wanted them to hear. And that's how then Jesus said to his followers to be a testimony. So it's a privilege we have. And we sometimes are going to see the results and rejoice in what he's doing. Other times we'll say, well, that one's in God's hands. But we want to keep praying.
Yeah. Well, that's very encouraging.
Could I mention a couple little tools to help people, Nathan?
Absolutely.
One is that our ministry has a website called Pray 1 Tim 2. So I serve with the Ministry of Capital Commission, and you can go to pray1tim2.org
Okay.
and type in your state. And then if you want to sign up there, you can get a list of state legislators and U.S. Congress members from California to pray for, or whatever state somebody's in, to pray for legislators and Congress members from your state every day or every week. So that's just a good reminder to pray.
Yeah.
And then you can click on the link and actually send them a little note if you want to. And then another website is knowwho.com. And knowwho.com is not a Christian website, it's just a political website, but you can go there, click on Find My Elected Officials, type in your address, and print out a 2-page sheet with a photo directory of every one of your government leaders, from the president down to your city council members. And it's a great thing to put on your refrigerator so you can get to know them and pray for them by name. But I encourage people, just anytime you get to know one of them by name or you see them in the news, that's a great chance to stop and pray for them.
Right. That's a great reminder, a great way to just take a pause, take a moment to pray for that person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, our we will be making available the points that we talked about today. But also, I just wanted to end with talking a little bit about how people can support you. Can they go to your website, frankerb.com, if they'd like to partner with you?
That's great. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's right. frankerb.com, and click on give and give directly to my ministry there, and be very grateful for that.
Thank you. Thank you again, Frank. And again, you've been there since 2008, working in the state capitol, and I am very grateful for the work that you're doing there, the people that you're reaching, and thank you for taking the time to just talk with us about praying for our legislators and elected officials. It's very needed. It's a command. It's something that anyone can do, and it should be something that's on our hearts. And these are people that need the Lord just as much as anyone else. So thank you so much for your time, Frank.
Thank you, Nathan. My pleasure. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, God bless, and we'll talk to you again soon.